Would you give away your last dollar to a stranger in need, knowing it might change their life forever? On a chilly winter evening in a bustling city, Claire, a single mother juggling 2 jobs, hurried home with a bag of groceries. The streets were alive with holiday cheer, twinkling lights, laughter, and the faint hum of carolers, but Claire's heart felt heavy. Every penny she earned was carefully budgeted, and tonight's dinner was a humble soup to stretch the week's groceries. As she crossed the corner near the subway, she noticed a frail elderly man sitting on the pavement, shivering under a threadbare blanket. A cardboard sign beside him read, "Lost everything. Anything helps." His trembling hands held out a tin cup with only a few coins. Claire hesitated. She barely had enough for her son's school supplies, let alone spare change for a stranger. Yet, as their eyes met, something stirred within her, a call to act that she couldn't ignore. Little did she know, this small decision would set in motion a life-changing chain of events. Claire's life was a delicate balancing act. Each morning began before sunrise, packing her son Liam's lunch before rushing to her first job as a cashier. Evenings were spent cleaning offices, often leaving her too exhausted to help Liam with his homework. Despite her struggles, Claire never let her son see her worry. She had perfected the art of smiling through the pain, determined to give him a better future. But the weight of her reality was unrelenting. Her rent was overdue, and the landlord's warning letter loomed in her purse. Winter's biting cold only deepened her despair. The heater in their apartment had broken weeks ago, and she couldn't afford to fix it. As Claire stared at the elderly man on the street corner, her heart ached. She imagined her father, who had passed away when she was Liam's age, in the same helpless position. Her hand instinctively reached into her pocket, brushing against the few crumpled bills she had left, just enough to buy Liam's school supplies tomorrow. Her mind raced with excuses. "I barely have enough for us. What if this man isn't truly in need?" But then she noticed his hands, raw and cracked from the cold, and the hollow look in his eyes. She stepped closer, clutching the money tightly. The man looked up, his eyes glistening with a mix of hope and resignation. Claire hesitated, the battle raging in her mind. Every logical reason told her to walk away, but her heart pleaded otherwise. Finally, with a deep breath, she knelt down. "Here," she said, pressing the bills into his hand. The man's eyes widened in disbelief, his lips trembling as he whispered, "God bless you." Claire stood up, her heart pounding. As she walked away, doubt crept in. Had she done the right thing? Would Liam forgive her for coming home empty-handed? She didn't know then that her selfless act would soon ripple far beyond her imagination. Claire's hands trembled as she reached into her pocket, pulling out the last crumpled bills she had, $20 meant for Liam's school supplies. She hesitated for a moment, her fingers tightening around the money. Her mind screamed to hold on to it, but her heart whispered otherwise. Kneeling down, she extended the cash toward the elderly man. His hands, shaking from the cold, hovered over hers for a moment, as if unsure whether to accept such a gift. When he finally took the money, his face crumpled with emotion. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice raspy and thick with disbelief. Claire nodded, her throat tightening. "You need it more than I do," she said softly. The man's eyes brimmed with tears. "You've just saved me," he whispered, clutching the money like it was a lifeline. "I haven't eaten in 2 days." Claire felt a lump rise in her throat, but she managed a small smile. "Take care of yourself," she said before standing and walking away. As she turned the corner, an unexpected wave of emotions crashed over her, relief, guilt, and a strange sense of peace. The warmth of having done the right thing clashed with the gnawing fear of how she would explain this to Liam. Still, as she replayed the man's grateful words in her mind, Claire felt something she hadn't experienced in weeks: hope. Her small act of generosity, though it left her empty-handed, filled her with an unshakable sense of purpose. The following evening, Claire returned home after her shift, still wondering if she'd made the right decision. When she opened the door, Liam ran to her, holding an envelope he found taped to their front door. "Mom, look," he exclaimed, handing it to her. Claire's hands shook as she opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. "Your kindness did not go unnoticed. The man you helped yesterday is a dear friend who lost everything. Because of you, he believes in humanity again. I want to thank you for your selflessness." Beneath the note was a check, written for an amount that made her gasp. It was enough to pay off her rent, repair the heater, and secure Liam's school supplies for the rest of the year. Tears filled her eyes as she realized the enormity of what had happened. Her small act of generosity had not only saved the man but had come back to her in a way she never imagined. That night, as she tucked Liam into bed, Claire whispered, "Kindness has a way of coming full circle." And from that day forward, she vowed to give, no matter how little she had, knowing the power it held to transform lives. In the days that followed, Claire noticed something shifting in her heart. The fear and scarcity she had carried for so long were replaced with a quiet confidence. Her act of kindness, born from nothing but compassion, had not only helped the elderly man but had brought unexpected blessings into her own life. For the man she had helped, that $20 was more than just money, it was a lifeline that renewed his faith in humanity. He used it to buy a warm meal and reconnect with a local shelter, where he began rebuilding his life. For Claire, it became a powerful reminder of the strength found in giving, even when you have little. She shared the story with Liam, teaching him the value of compassion. In the end, Claire understood a simple truth: even the smallest acts of kindness can ripple far beyond what we see, transforming lives in ways we never expect.